Today we want to look at Tekken 200cc Discovery. This is an adventure bike. If you've ever had an opportunity of riding one, then you'll notice that it's quite a tall bike compared to the Tekken 250. Tekken 250cc is a bit short, but now 200 is a bit tall. It performs better on the rugged terrain and off-roads as opposed to on-road. You'll see that the tires have some grips, and these grips, you find that if you're riding it on a tarmac road, when you're braking, then your chances of sliding are very high. And again, the fact that it doesn't have an ABS brake, it makes it quite slippery to slide on the road when you're riding it. So Tekken 200 is an off-road oriented bike. The engine is 200cc single cylinder SOHC. It is air-cooled. We talked about the differences between the air-cooled and the liquid-cooled in our previous video of the Vogue Rally 300cc. Comparing the two between the air-cooled and the liquid-cooled engine is that air-cooled engine is easy to maintain, but now when you're doing long trips, the engine tends to heat. And when it overheats, it will rely on maybe a cool environment or the air to cool down or to not get overheated to the point that it can affect the performance of the bike. So air-cooled, there's a tendency that it will often be cooled from the front because the air, as you penetrate the air as a rider, the air normally comes from the front. So it will cool the front parts of the engine, but now the back part will remain heated or hot. So this affects the performance of the bike. But when it comes to performance-wise or maintenance cost of an air-cooled bike is cheap, of course. For an air-cooled bike, you cannot do, for instance, if you want to do a non-stop trip from Kenya, maybe all the way to South Africa or maybe to Busia, you'll have to do frequent stops so that the engine can get cooled. But now if you have something like the Vogue Rally 300cc that is liquid cooled, then with that you can go non-stop because there's a coolant that when you are going for service, when you are changing the oil, the liquid also will have to be refilled so that it cools the engine. Now with that, with the liquid cooled, you can do the longest trip of your life. Only what will make you to get a break is if you're tired. The liquid will constantly cool the bike. So the Tekken 200 is air-cooled. The fuel system is a PZ30 carburetor. Then the transmission is 6-speed manual. So this is a manual bike. It has 6-speed. That shows you that it's not just a normal bike. It is a bit powerful, of course. The power is approximately between 17 to 19 horsepower with a 6,000 to 8,000 RPM. The torque is around 17 to 18.5 Nm at 6,000 to 6,500 RPM. The starting, of course, is electric and remote start. As I told you earlier, the remote, you can use this remote to start the bike. And you can also use the button, the electric button, to start the bike. Front suspension is hydraulic spring shock absorber. Then the rear suspension is the monoshock absorber with an air damper. Then we have the front disc brake and the rear wheel spoke wheel. Notice that all adventure bikes, they have spokes. But the other road bikes, they normally have this chrome or fiber. So the reasons why the adventure bikes have spokes and why spokes are recommended for adventuring or for touring bikes is because with spokes, maybe if you hit maybe a rock or maybe you fall in a ditch and your rim is badly damaged, then the spokes can be replaced and the rim can be aligned and you continue with your trip. The chrome or the fiber, once it is broken, then that becomes the end of your trip. So I assume that happens somewhere in the thick forest of Congo there, or Mount Kenya, no one will save you. So that's why spoke wheels are recommended for adventure bikes, and that's why all adventure bikes have spoke wheels. The fuel tank is 13 to 16 liters. It is around 13.5 liters, but I know it ranges between 13 to 16 liters with the reserve fuel tank of 2 liters. So if you exhaust your 13 liters, then there's a knob down below the bike somewhere here that will just be switched to activate the reserve tank. So the fuel, it is economical, of course. The 1 liter will take you to around between 30 to 40 kilometers. When you buy your bike, the first 1,000 kilometers, you should not push your bike so hard. The first 1,000 kilometers, you need to handle your bike carefully. Because imagine you have your Tekken 200 Discovery, then someone has a BMW 1200 RR, then you want to compete this person. The BMW 1200 RR, where the rider is at, let's say, 2000 RPM, and you are pushing your bike all the way to the maximum RPM. With him, you will be riding at your speed or even faster than you at a lower RPM, meaning his bike will be safe, while you will be pushing your bike to the extreme. That will be damaging to your bike. So don't compete powerful bikes. If you want to compete or if you want to race, then compete with the bikes that are at your level. Handle your bike carefully. So the first 1,000 kilometers, you should not go beyond maybe 80 kilometers. Just ride it slowly. After the first 1,000 kilometers, you should go for the service. Now, like this bike here, we are here for the service. We've exhausted the first 1,000 kilometers. Then now we will go back. You ride for another 1,500 kilometers, meaning the next service will be at 2,500 kilometers. The weight of this bike is around 140 kilograms, and the top speed is between 115 to 128 kilometers per hour. We have the TFT meter. We have the safety dual crash guards and engine guards. So the engine guards and crash guards are very important. You can use this remote to start the bike and use this remote to ensure that your bike is safely parked. When you see some strangers maybe going next to your bike where you've parked it, then you can use this remote to just scare them. The bike has a USB charging port. You can charge on the go, and it has a windshield. So this windshield protects your chest from the air that can be maybe disastrous to your health. Remember, too much air again on your chest can give you some chest pain and pneumonia. So this windshield is very good. This bike comes with a rack. You can put your top box on this rack. As you can see at the front, these are LED lights. It comes with the parts where you can fix the LED lights. And it is a tall bike. It is an interesting bike. There's a friend who has gone all the way to South Africa with this bike. So that is Tekken for you. It is a good bike. If you handle your bike well, then your bike will serve you well. Don't be in a rush. These things, they kill. But if you behave, then again it will also behave. If you misbehave with it, then it will also misbehave with you by killing you. So just be disciplined on the road. Gear up. You should have a good jacket for riding. You should have a good trouser. You should have good shoes. You should have good and certified helmet. You should have knee guards and elbow guards, and you leave the rest to God. That is it for Tekken 200. It is a good bike. I can recommend that if you can have it. The Nairobi Power Bikes retails them at right now you can get it around 277,000 Kenyan shilling. See you next in our next review.